On a recent trip to Wales, this was the weather that I was faced with. It got me thinking though, what is the best shutter speed for a waterfall? Firstly, we'll take a look at the impact of the shutter speed on the flow of the water. Then we'll take a look at the process and workflow required to bring out the best of a workflow image based on my personal preference and shutter speed. And finally, I'll add a short gallery of images from my edited waterfall shots. Here we have a series of pictures of a small cascade, here at 1/250th of a second, and moving through 1/30th through to 1/5. You'll notice how the water now starts to smooth out. We then go to half a second, where it's getting smoother still, which is the one that most people recommend, and then we go to 2-second image, a 5-second image, and a 10-second image. This gives a clear indication and allows you to choose your personal preference for whichever shutter speed works best for you. So this is the image that I've decided I will show the edit of. The reason for choosing this edit is the autumn colours in the ferns and the grasses along the side. We've also got a natural flow of the river. The actual time exposure on this was 30 seconds, so you get a really smooth transition of the water over the fall. And what the 30 seconds give us is this milkiness and the reflection and the smoothing of the water below the waterfall, which gives it that additional aspect and light intrigue. What we've also got is the small waterfall coming in from the right, just to give it that little bit of extra coming in terms of the composition of the day. So let's have a look at this, and we will go through. First things first, I always switch across to Adobe Landscape. I really like that. It just adds that little bit of richness to it. I'm not going to really change anything else in the overall image. What I really want to do is bring out certain areas of the image and have a look at the saturation. I'm not really going to touch the hue at all, but what I want to do is bring out the reds a little bit. So let's see how this looks. So red, I want to bring that up a little bit so we can see the fern is starting to change now. I don't want to take it too far. I don't want to over edit the thing. Probably about somewhere in that region. And maybe just bring its luminance up just a touch, just so it adds a little bit to that. So the oranges as well. So let's go with the oranges. Let's just bring those up just so now we can really see the detail that's really starting to impact the fern. Again, don't want to overdo it because don't want to overdo those ferns up there. Let's just see, because there's a lot of, we don't want them to, now we're talking. Now we're just bringing those into scope. So now let's bring up the yellows. I'll probably review this. Now we can see the grass, the yellows in the grass is just starting to come out now and brighten up a little bit. But again, we don't want it to over dominate the waterfall. So let's just drop that back just a little bit, somewhere like that. Just darken it out a little bit. Okay, so now let's have a think about the greens. Let's bring those greens. Just make sure the greens are a little bit richer than they are, because they're a little bit lost at the moment. And the aqua, the blue of the water now, we can start to see there's a little bit of a tint to that. But I don't really want to make much of a difference to that. I did wonder whether I was going to, but I'm not going to make much of a difference to that. But the actual blue itself, let's have a little look at that. You see, you can just see it's darkening the water a little bit, but I don't want to overdo it. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that, but what I want to do, I want to bring out this particular grass on the left-hand side. So let's use the masking. Let's get ourselves a radial mask. And we probably want something in that area, maybe a little bit thinner. We don't want it to encroach too much on the water, but we definitely want it to cover into the off-screen bit there. So let's have a play with that. So let's bring that in. Let's have a look at this. Now is it the contrast? Yes. Let's just bring it out a little bit more there. Yeah, okay, I think we're good there. And let's see what we can do with it, because what I don't want it to do is dominate the picture. I think it just needs a little bit of a tweak. There we go. Now that's having a better. That's better, because what I want it to do is draw the eye into the river and not be too distracting on this side. So let's bring this. So this grass is now a little bit strong. So let's bring ourselves a radial gradient here, and I'm just gonna rotate that around a bit. I just want that grass not to be quite so bright as it is right now. Let's just move that up there a touch. Okay, so that should be good. I think we just need to bring this down. I just think it's a little bit too bright. Is that? I think that's just drop the blacks a little bit. You see, it's just starting to show the radial. So let's select that again. Let's bring that out a little bit, just so that I can just drop that contrast. It's not looking like right. Drop the shadows. That's a little bit better there. So let's drop the shadows. So we're just losing that. I just want to bring this out a little bit more, just so that it brings that into play as well. So it starts to eliminate that grass. That's good. That's good. I'm starting to like that now. That's not so dominant now. And now what I do want to do though is bring that into play. I want to bring the fern into play at the top. So let's have a look at adding a new mask. I'm going to use my brush with this. My brush size is a little bit small. I'm kind of essentially wanting to do this fern just to bring the colour out in that. Okay, so let's have a go with this one then. Let's see if we can bring the colours out in this one. So the contrast, I think I need to drop the contrast just to bring out the details a little bit more. It's pretty dark right now, so let's just lighten it up just a touch. We don't want to really kill it off though. I think this needs a little bit of saturation adding. Right, and let's do this little bit of saturation just to give it that colour, just to really give that element, that colour. And that is something I think I'm going to go back to this one now. I've got a balance on the picture. I just want to maybe draw. Let's have a look. It's not the highlights I wanted to change here. I think maybe it's the saturation. Just bring the saturation. It's too much, but we just give it that colour to match the water as well. Okay, so I think that's looking pretty good right now. I do want to, before we go, I'll go back to the basic. I just want to have a look at the clarity of the overall image. I just want to bring that. Now we start. The question is it over dehazing just a little bit? Right. Okay. So I think we're there now. I think we're there. We've got nice blues of this. We've got the greens and oranges of the autumn colours coming out now. So what I've done offline is just edit a few of the little bit of tufts of grass that were a bit distracting just here. That's all I've removed from the image. No other changes so far. That is my final image, and I can now export that, print it, resize it, to do what I want to it. So I hope you enjoyed that little edit. As promised, here a small sample of my gallery. Whilst reviewing these, please take the time to sub, like, and add any comments you may have regarding the images below. It's been great, and thank you very much for your time, and please check out the rest of my videos. I will see you soon. Bye.